Hello and welcome to Parenting on the Go. I'm Sheena Monnin, and joining me here today is Jesse and Melva Johnson. Mr. Johnson holds a master's degree in humanistic and clinical psychology from the Michigan School of Professional Psychology. Mrs. Johnson holds a master's degree in social work from the University of Michigan. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson have over 60 years of combined experience as relationship coaches and educators, workshop presenters, and consultants. Thank you both for being here today to talk about the very important topic of blended families. Mr. Johnson, I can imagine that blended families have their own unique set of challenges and difficulties.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And these days there are a lot more blended families, and so as a consequence, that creates some real challenges for a lot of marriages. When we got married, fortunately, the minister that married us decided to include my two sons from my previous marriage. And so there were four of us, and so he included them in the ceremony and basically said, you know, you also have some responsibility here to make sure this family works. And so they were delighted to be a part of that. And so we were all excited about being together as a family because we had fun together and enjoyed doing things together. But then we moved in together and it was a whole new bag, okay?
And let me tell her about that.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about some of those challenges, I would imagine.
Yeah, because, you know, the romantic stage was just fun, hanging out, enjoying each other. Then we moved together under the same roof. Then all of a sudden we saw four different people. And sometimes the four different people didn't get along. So we shifted right to the power struggle. So we thought, okay, so what do we do? You know, he's getting on my nerves. I was the only female. This one's getting on my nerves, what have you. So what are we going to do? So Jesse said, well, you know, we really have to figure this thing out. It's like we've had all this training, you know, we've had all this life experience. Let's figure it out.
Because it's not something you can just ignore.
Absolutely.
Because everyone's always there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we had to deal with not just the four of us under the same roof, we also had to deal with the fact that there was another biological parent who did not live there. And then what the boys were dealing with in terms of their feeling loyal to Jesse, feeling loyal to their mother, and then where does the stepmother fit in to that? So we worked it through. And fantastic. Jesse came up with a structure that really helped us to figure it out.
Oh, great. Tell us a little bit about your 3 game plan points that you have.
Yeah, well, I thought, first of all, it was very important that we were able to sit down as a family and communicate and talk to each other, that we really understand each other and learn how to support one another. So that was one of the first things. We call those family meetings, and so we would meet as often as we needed to initially, and each of us would share, for example, what was going on in our world. We could ask each other for support. That included Melva and I in terms of from our sons, because they could support us as well, like in terms of doing the chores and
emotional support.
And
cheering each other on.
Yes. And so that was very important. And
I think also just being honest about the conflict that's there, right? That would be important as well.
Yeah, and to make sure that it was solution oriented. So this is what this is the hand that's been dealt, so this is how we're going to play it to get to the other side, so that it's win-win.
Right. And speaking of that, number 2, I would recommend that you do not allow the children to divide and conquer. And that's especially important when you have a blended family that consists of children from 2 different homes. Because a lot of times the kids don't always get along.
Right.
And they will play the parents against each other, and so that can create
that can tear down the team that you're trying to build for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, Melva, are there any other tips and strategies out there you want to share in closing for blended families who may be watching?
Yeah. So making sure that people know how to speak to each other with respect and understanding, and to listen with curiosity, and and with compassion, and to make sure that it's not either the children first or the marriage first. It's like it's both in. Both parts of the family unit, the whole part of the family unit is important. And we wrote about it a little bit in our book called Mining for Gold in Your Marriage.
Okay.
It's a 12-step journey to finding the treasures in the relationship. However, those treasures are really within.
Yeah, nice.
And so that's one resource. And we also say, if you need help, get it.
Yeah.
Professional help is not a bad word.
Not at all. Great.
Get in touch with your therapist, your social worker, someone who can help you to have a plan to make things work.
Absolutely. Thank you both so very much for being here today to talk about this very important and relevant topic.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching another episode of Parenting on the Go. If you would like to look up more helpful parenting tips, you can visit the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance website at wbyouthassistance.org.